Good, good. Help me tailor the comments as we go along. Some of the things we're seeing, obviously, we're just coming out, depending on the side of the fence you are with your views. We either haven't come out or we've just barely come out of a real tough time. And one of the things that we're seeing a lot is this demand shift. It's in two levels. One, it is a resetting of demand that's lower. So it's settled, but it's not on its trajectory back up. If it is, it's got to be rebuilt, so to speak. And for the developed to the emerging markets, not necessarily third world, that's a whole other category still, but the emerging markets, they really didn't have a serious recession. There was still growth, GDP was still going, places like Brazil, India. And one of the things we're seeing is this idea of frugal innovation. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but they still want some of the same things, but the price points are different. So how do you make that happen? And with the flat demand, or the flat demand in the developed, mostly Europe and Americas, what do you do with that? You know, how do you respond to that? And we'll talk about that in a minute. The other thing is the shrinking life cycle for products. You see it all around in the flip that we're using, the computers, everything else. You've got much less time, so if you are in engineering or product development, you can't bank on a 4 or 5 year run once you hit maturity in typical curves. You have to pull that forward, make a lot of money up front, and you got to place your bets accordingly. One of the things we're really seeing is how do you decide early on which ideas to fund, which ideas to back, which products to back. And that's a concept that will really serve you across any discipline, is internal or external projects or products. Which ones do you want to put the money behind? Because one of the things we see with some clients, especially ones that are really solid but been around for a long time, they'll get 90% of the way through some products, especially information products, where they have to mock up and see where they are before they actually decide whether or not they're going to be successful. So if you think about that investment, when you turn it off and just shelve it, you've wasted so much. And I work mostly with product development, product innovation, some marketing, but those parts of the business. And for the first time, they're under the stress. Used to be R&D was that black box. Nobody quite understood it. You couldn't re-engineer it. You couldn't do things because you didn't want to touch the product piece. But they are. So companies began with automotive, apparel. It's going to ripple through all the way to high tech. You've got less money, but you're supposed to innovate, get more products out the door. And so you've actually got to target and get a lot more yield on your innovations. So earlier in the stage gate process, you have to peg and decide which ones to release, where to put your bets. The other thing, the social and environmental responsibility, we see a lot with sustainability, and it's not just the feel-good stuff. You know, we have 120 million square feet under climate control in India alone, and we were doing a lot of pilots over there on smart buildings. So literally, at certain times of day, the shutters start to close, thermostats automatically move, and we're seeing 5, 10, 15% savings based on that. And we partner with people like Cisco, who are being retained by these massive cities in Asia to literally build up infrastructure, so city buildings, apartments, etc., where from inception they're all smart wired. And so partnering with them, trying to actually re-engineer so that the cost of utilities goes down, so their power plants are less, water usage is better, etc. So there's a lot of that going on, and of course the taxes that are put on most products now, not just the toxic ones, but almost all of them. Like if you're in Europe or Germany, you buy the BMW, well, there's a tax based upon the disposal. So we're going to see more and more of that pulled out because the places to put these things are running out. And then, of course, this idea of all the feedback, very socially connected. You know, before you go out to eat, you go check it out. You know, the voice, very active voice with consumers. One of the things we're doing a lot of, we're seeing is unstructured analysis. So working with the Barnes & Nobles, the Amazons, etc., doing unstructured searches, let's say for cameras. Rather than trying to have all these formal surveys and focus groups, being able to literally just trawl all across the web and say, how often do certain words pop up? Amazing, great, or it sucks. You know, and literally based upon those attributes and synonyms, you can pull out and derive the general feeling about the market. And this is coming from blogs, from complaints, from response to company sites. So it isn't the formal stuff. It's absolutely all the consumer and user-generated stuff. We're seeing that's a lot more indicative of the true thermometer or opinion that people have out there. So